Hey guys, this is your man Luigi Mangione, okay? AKA Super Luigi Mangione, AKA the CEO Eraser. Yo, big up to all the boxing basement fans all the way from Rikers Island. Hey yo, I managed to get a smartphone from my homeboys here. So I'm watching all the Triple B shows. Make sure you subscribe and donate to my boy, or I might come and visit you, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, I want to say this, right? I spoke to the guards, and you know that lying piece of shit, Teddy Atlas, the small hat dude, he lied about being here because he lies about anything. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I just want to say this message. Insurance CEOs, FTP, and ACAB. You know what I'm saying? The police. Triple B unit. Yep. If you're a Triple B fan, you're a Luigi Mangione fan, and he is a Triple B fan. So what you got to know about that, homeboy? Apparently, he's been treated really well in the Nick, because even though he's in Rikers Island, right? You know, Rikers Island, where Teddy Atlas lied. It's yet another one of Teddy Atlas's endless lies. He pretended he went in there. He pretended he never was. Yeah, he pretended he was New York Golden Gloves champion until people looked and they realized it was a lie. Then he said it was Appalachian. Golden Gloves champion, and this thing never existed, right? What else? Oh yeah, he said he went to Donnie Lalonde's flat with a gun and waited to shoot him. This is nonsense because he didn't even know where Donnie lived at the time, and he got the wrong, he got the wrong area in his book, in his alleged book, which is obviously lies. He said he took a gun to Mike Tyson's head. Tyson laughed. Like, this is just Teddy being Teddy, that's nonsense. He said, I got attacked by 5 guys and I was with 2 friends. Well, I say they're friends, but they ran away and they left me to fight 5 guys. One guy slashed me in the face with a razor, but I took all 5 of them out. Come on, blood. Are you serious, man? I've done a video on it, so check it out. And Donnie Lalonde commentated on it. Interestingly. Donnie's a lovely guy, by the way. He does a lot for kids' charities, abused kids. And, it's all lies. Teddy Atlas is one of the biggest frauds and liars of all times. Hey, we firefighters, we firefighters. And when he got to Michael Mora, hey, Michael, guess what? I got your daughter on the phone. She said, why doesn't Daddy want to be heavyweight champion of the world? Yeah, right. As if some 5-year-old girl's ringing up Teddy Atlas or something in the middle of a fight going, Daddy, why doesn't Daddy want to be heavyweight champion of the world? If my trainer said that to me in the middle of a fight, I'd be, stop lying. Don't bring my family into it. Get out my corner. I'll deal with this. Bum. And yeah, the scar, he did it himself. It's a really long, straight scar right down his face, right? Someone slashes you on the streets. You don't get that. You don't get a 10-inch long, straight scar on the face unless you're held down on the floor. And he wasn't held down because he just sort of got slashed in the face. Really? It's a pretty perfectly straight slash. In a street fight, you just on the face and you slash it. There'd be a small slash on his cheek. He's such a liar. Such a liar. And saying, my friends ran away, leaving just me. Well, you should have run away too if you had any brain. And apparently he knocked 5 guys out. One of them had a knife. What a lie. He's a scumbag. And please, believe you don't have to look at his early life section. Anyway, it's ain't about Teddy Atlas, who I can't stand, who's a fraud. His father, he's a yuppie, right? He pretends to be a rough man. He lies about everything. His father was a rich doctor in Manhattan. He's full of shit. But this ain't about that bum. But it was about Rikers Island, where Luigi is. Free Luigi. Apparently everyone was clapping him and that in the prison. And these are rough guys, yeah. American prisons are no picnic. Because they recognize what he did. He was taking out a guy who was CEO of a company who invented an algorithm to try and disperse as many and deny as many health insurance claims. They had United Healthcare, I think it was, had a 30% rejection rate of insurance claims on health, and that is way, way more than any other company in the US. So that's, some people say, some people say, I ain't going to say it, but some people say he got what he deserved. Right, so we got a fight on Friday. Keyshawn Davis, who's obviously the new hyped, slick American hope. I watched Keyshawn Davis box once. I can't remember who against, but I wasn't interested. It's not to mean he's not good, but I was like, another one of these slick Americans with a stupid name. Javon Gay. What kind of name is Javon Gay? Dequarius. I'm saying Keyshawn. All these other bums. Deontay. What kind of names are that? Why don't he call himself, James or David? Anyway, so he's fighting. Yeah, he's fighting Dennis Berinchyk, who's unbeaten, but he's not a puncher, right? And he has 19 wins, 9 KOs. He's a rough and ready, and he comes forward, and he could be one of those awkward guys. You know when you get a guy like Ricardo Mayorga beating, say, Vernon Forrest in a huge upset, some people might say, oh, it's like maybe that rough and ready style is what takes them slick boxers out of their rhythm and wins. Well, I mean, it's happened before, but, he's a big underdog, Berinchyk. I think you can get 4-1 or 5.0 decimal on him, I think. I don't believe he's going to win. I think because the difference is him and Mayorga is Mayorga could punch. This guy, Berinchyk, is not a puncher. He's a less than 50% KO ratio. I think this Keyshawn Ting, with a stupid name, will probably win on points. And he's been hyped anyway. So even, the only way that Berinchyk, he'd have to completely dominate Davis and either stop him or completely dominate to win on the cards. And that ain't going to happen. It looks set up for a Keyshawn points win, but I don't care. The fight that interests me on the undercard is far more interesting from a betting perspective, okay? And that is a guy called Vito, I don't know how to pronounce it, Mielnicki Jr. It sounds like a Polish name, but Vito is an Italian name. He looks Italian, to be honest. He's got the baby face. Mielnicki, I think is how you pronounce it. He's from the USA. He's called White Magic, 22, young kid. He's a prospect. He's been pushed. So what I understand from Vito is that he was a good junior amateur. As a senior, he didn't do that well. He won 4 national titles. And he's fighting Conor Coyle from the beautiful Emerald Isle. Conor Coyle from Ireland. Now, Conor is 34. So, some people would say for a guy who is a middleweight, he's at or past his peak, He's from Derry. Apparently he lives in Derry in North of Ireland, but he's Republic. He's from Era in terms of nationality. And I spoke to some of my Irish pals. And they say he's really rated. I looked at a bit of footage. Like I said, if you're going to bet, look at a little bit of footage. I mean, the thing is, I'm not going to spend all time looking at a lot of footage because on a smaller fight, if I'm only going to put a 5 or a 10 on it, I ain't going to spend half an hour comparing fights. But I just had a little look at the highlights. Like I said, we start with Conor Coyle, who's the underdog. Right, you get 4.33. I actually caught it at 5.0, so that's 4-1 for all the fools that use fractional, which makes Vito quite a big favorite. Okay, now I don't know, man. Vito's obviously sellable in the United States and being pushed, but like I said, I talked to me Irish links, me Irish funds, and they said that Conor Coyle is rated in Ireland. He's rated in Ireland. He's boxed at international level, including he got to Commonwealth semi-final. He lost to Vijender Singh, the former Indian superstar that's retired to become a politician and an actor or something. And, so would I if I was as whack as him. Well, he was not that whack, but I mean, he's not going to make it, right? And, most of Conor's fights were Irish, at national level, or international level, the record isn't perfect, but neither is Vito's. Vito Mielnicki's record, they're a similar sort of one-loss record according to box rate. Like I said, with box rate, you can't always tell because with the amateur records, there's a lot of fights missed out. But, and you can't always read too much into the amateur careers. However, as I said, Conor, he's not a puncher. He's at 21 wins, 9 wins by way of KO. I've seen him KO a couple of guys, though. Joey Bryant KO'd in 5. His last fight was a points win. He's fought some, he hasn't fought any spectacularly good guys, but, he's fought some experienced guys. He's fought some guys with reasonable records. Like I said, he's 34. He's 34. But he's 6 foot, and he is, like I said, I just spoke to my next nigga. Yeah, people do rate him for what that's worth. He's called Conor the Kid Coyle when he's 34, so he's not really a kid anymore. But whatever, he got a bit of baby face himself, no homo. He's not a bad looking lad, nor is Vito, So if the Batman would probably like to watch this fight, two pretty boys fighting. This kid Vito. So yeah, he's from New Jersey. He'd obviously be very sellable, but he's got a loss. So he's got 20 wins and 12 KOs. He's not really a dynamite puncher himself. Do you know what I mean? He's not a dynamite puncher himself. That's almost 50% KO ratio, right? It's about 55%, is it? He's got 21 fights and 12 KOs. His last fight was a majority decision, which never looks good. Although one guy had him winning every round, another guy had him winning 98 to 92, and then one guy had a majority decision. So I don't know what to read into that. Like I said, he's beaten a similar level of fighter than Conor Coyle. Guys with half decent records who obviously have got some kind of experience, but they tend to lose at the top level. There's no big names on either of these guys' resumes. There is, however, a loss by majority decision on points for Vito Mielnicki. Okay? But can someone correct me? If they want to correct me about how I pronounce it, they're welcome. But I think it looks like a Polish name, so I'm trying to give it a Polish pronunciation. Although Polish names are almost impossible to pronounce if you're not from Poland. So he lost to a guy called James Martin. Now, James Martin is from Philly. He's 5'7", so, he was 5 inches shorter than Vito. His record at the moment stands at 10-4 with 1 draw, with 0 KOs, but 0 losses by KO. So this guy ain't a puncher. And he outpointed Mielnicki by 1 drawn card, one by 77-75, 1 79-73. And it's interesting because obviously Vito would have been the favourite, Vito would have been the crowd. What I mean is, by the favourite, the crowd favourite. He would have been the promoter's favourite and all that. But this guy, Martin, beat him on points. Martin is like, he obviously can't, he can't. What's it called? He's got a pea shooter in his arsenal. He can't punch. He's never scored a KO in 15 fights. I mean, you'd think even Barry Jones scored 1 KO for crying out loud, but. Yeah, he's obviously solid. He doesn't get stopped. He's probably a bit tricky, but there's no one of any decency in terms of wins on his record. Xander Zayas beat him on points. He's probably a tricky guy, but Zayas won every round on every card. So that gives you an idea of the level James Martin is at, and yet he beat Vito. So. That makes you think. That makes you think. If a guy at that level can outpoint Vito, what would a guy like Conor Coyle, who is a better boxer, who's boxed at a better level, who's unbeaten, and 5 inches taller, we're starting to think, well, hang on, man, that could be an upset here. I looked at some video footage. Vito he's quite aggressive. I mean, when you watch highlights, it's not really a good way to watch to see how good a fighter is because you're just seeing his best, his best performances and stopping people. But he seemed to have a little bit of power, But as I said, it's who you stop. I mean, no one can stop a bum, Conor. I looked at so he looked aggressive. He had nice body shots, but he was getting hit a bit too much. It was a bit too easy to hit. He looked like a come forward fighter. Conor Coyle, on the other hand, was a much slicker boxer with a nice jab. He had a nice jab. He looks by far the slicker boxer, and is exactly the kind of boxer that you would imagine would have a good advantage against a come forward guy who's too easy to hit. So I'm looking at this and, I don't after I lost the last big prediction I made was Morel to win. And that didn't come true. I hate losing. I hate giving up. You know, I hate giving betting tips and then they lose because most of my tips win. And a lot of me, and as I said, you know, I $1.5 grand up last year on boxing. The year before, $2.5 grand up. That's in profit. I always up. It's the long shot. It's the long term profit and loss. It's not, you're terrible. You don't know nothing about boxing. You gave me that tip and you lost. And I was like, well, you know, you can't win it. As long as you're close, right? And you made a decent bet. And you know, it's not. I've made a few bad bets in my time. I didn't think the Morel bet was that bad at all. I just thought Morel kind of threw it away. Whether he threw it or not, are different. I mean, like Andy Ruiz, I was saying to everyone on my old channel, just this is just worth a bet. The odds are too big. 16-1, Andy Ruiz KO. Get on that. And because KJ didn't look right. And Ruiz had just fought recently, like 5 weeks before. So he was in shape, in shape for a fat pig. And he looked good on the pads. He looked confident. KJ's head wasn't there. Joey DeWaker knocked him out. These are the things you got to think about in the fight and betting. And you bet on the value. You bet where you think the bookmakers have got the odds a bit wrong. And to me, this is an even fight on paper. Yeah? It's an even fight on paper to me. Which is why there is value. And why I put a tenner on Conor to win. As I said, I caught it at 5.0. The odds have dropped a bit, but you can still get 4.33. So have a look at that. You can get 7.0, which is 6-1, depending on your bookie, on Conor Coyle points, because he's not a big puncher. You know, he's only got a 43% KO ratio. But I'm looking at this as a potential upset, and there's definitely value. There is definitely value on Conor Coyle. So have a look at that. It's up to you guys. It's your money. I'm putting my bet on. I put my bet on. The proof is in the pudding. I made a lot of money for the funds. You can't get everyone right. Yeah? But I believe there's value here. Let's just say that. It's up to you what you do with your money. I don't want no one crying. Everyone always cries. When you give someone a tip and it comes through, they go, oh, nice one, mate. Nice one, mate. Oh, nice one, yeah. But, and they slap you on the back. Yeah, oh, well done. And some of them don't even buy you a drink. I said, man, you just want £100 on that. You can't buy me a beer, blood. You know what I'm saying? But then if you give someone a tip and it loses, oh, you lost me some money. I said, whoa, listen, biatch. I told you, this is what I think will happen. This is what I'm going to do. Is there value? Yes, there is. It's up to you what you do with that information. And I've got data. I have an Excel spreadsheet with all my bets. I know exactly who I bet on. I know exactly my profit and my loss. And I've always been in profit. Except one year when I was making too much money, I started to bet for fun when I was drunk. And that's when I lost. That's the only year I've ever lost. And I don't bet a lot. I bet within my means. My biggest profit was 15 grand in a year, which is pretty sweet, man. You know, tax-free, 15 grand. What do you know about that? Even last year, one and a half, just under 1.5K. And I ain't got no money. Imagine if someone put, 1.5K on the table. Here you go. If you want 1.5K off a scratch card, you'd be jumping up and down, man. I just do it in the long term with a lot of bets. You feel me? So, have a think, guys. It's your money. Have a look into it as well. Don't just say, oh, Triple B says this. I don't want nobody complaining. It's your money. Of course, if it comes through, then yeah, by all means, show me some love. So, I'm saying I think the odds are wrong. I think it should be an even fight, and I'm putting money on Conor Coyle, tenner. I managed to get 5.0 or 4-1. I might even drop another fiver on him on points, you know, because that seems a more likely outcome. Depends on your bookie. You can find 7.0, but most of them are 6.0 or 5.5. But you know, I'll probably put a fiver on Coyle on points. Anyway, yeah, peace in the Middle East and free the hero, Luigi Mangione. Ciao, ciao. Bello.